Hello and welcome to what I think is likely to be my final video of the season. Joined today by Aaron, Aerobubble. How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good
How are
stuff. Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Just had a bit of time to reflect on this now, and yeah, feeling really good about it.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably should do. I mean, considering how well you did.
Well, it was a bit of a strange one because, as I say, 5-2, but it doesn't matter how you get there. You get there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Aaron was also in Continentals. He's the back-to-back Yorkshire champion, regional champion. So knows a bit about the big tournaments. There's a video online somewhere of me sat in a field talking about my team. So I'm not going into it too much, but yeah, it's just to give you the chance to if you've got any thoughts on my six at all.
I think that Rapidash and Malotix were great one-pointers, weren't they? I mean, I had tried to build with Scrafty and I just didn't like it. And then I ended up losing to something like 4 Scrafty teams.
Because you had Obstagoon and Jirachi, didn't you? So similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a look at go on, mate.
I really wanted to get Bronzong in, but I wanted Frostlass. So I was like, Jirachi pretty much does the same, relatively. But then obviously just didn't work out. But to be fair, I did catch a Scrafty with a Dazzling Gleam from my Jirachi, and it was like the highlight of the run.
Excellent. Yeah, I must admit, I'd have been equally happy with Jirachi as I was with Bronzong. It just so happened that Melodic sort of, there wasn't anything in Gen 4 that did what Melodic did, so it worked out well that way. And I think whenever I looked at Obstagoon teams, I always thought I'd rather find the 2 points from somewhere and upgrade to Scrafty. Even if that did mean the Galarian Rapidash came in and was largely quite useless. But yeah.
Nice bench pressure, I guess.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But I'm sure we'll see otherwise. So this is going to be a bit of a weird video. I've recorded some of the rounds with Lundberger from PvP Academica, so I'm going to be splitting between Aaron and Amanda. So round 1 was with Amanda, so we'll hop over to that now.
Do you have any thoughts about your team composition versus the other person? What do you look for when you first see an opponent? And also, first round is always a bit of a, nerve-wracking when it's a tournament like this, because if you don't do well at your first round, it kind of demoralizes you for the rest of the matches a little bit. Or maybe you're opposite of me and it just inspires you to push even harder. But the sweep is out of the question.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely the same. But yeah, the first thing I look for is, do they have a dark type? Because if not, Bronzong's going to be great. And this team doesn't have a dark type. Has a few hard losses in there and has Swampert, so kind of envisaging the Swampert coming every game, really. But there's nothing really on my team other than the Bronzong that's particularly weak to Swampert. So I'm kind of thinking here that as long as I protect Bronzong, because Bronzong, I think, maybe beats Swampert in the 2s. As long as I can just protect Bronzong, I should be fine. I don't particularly need to worry about switch advantage either, so long as I don't get something like Politoed caught up against Ivysaur, or Scrafty up against the Surfetch. Yeah, so was quite confident going into this, to be honest.
Well, let's check it out. So let's see, you have your Politoed lead into a Bronzong, so this is pretty decent for you. You're already feeling confident?
Yeah, and then the Noctowl comes in, and I stay in a little bit, just build up a bit of energy, because that will help me versus the Bronzong later, if it gets to that.
I think you switching out was an indication to your opponent, probably, that you don't have Blizzard. What are your thoughts on that? Were you staying in to kind of at first maybe think that you were going to fake a Blizzard and then said, no, I'm just going to gain the energy on the Bronzong?
No, it was all about keeping energy on the Politoed, really, just in case it might have come in useful later on versus a Swampert in the Zeros scenario or something like that. But I was a bit concerned at this point that actually I did switch a bit late, and if the Noctowl has a bit of energy and has Nightshade, it can sometimes overcome Bronzong in Zeros.
Yeah. But Nightshade is such a dinky move. I always feel like whenever I'm like, I finally built up to a Nightshade and I throw it, I was like, that's all it did?
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. So yeah, as I was saying, like I need to protect Bronzong, so I think I shield this. Yeah.
And then I assume that at this point you just farm it all the way down, and you'll have something to throw at the next thing that comes back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no dark type, and even if he comes in with Bronzong, I've got the bulldoze. So that's so this is like best case scenario for him, really, that he's got Swampert lined up against Bronzong.
So aggressive, very to decide to switch out, and now let's see. Now they have the Bronzong of their own, but this is actually interesting. Even though Scrappy is a counter user, it is a dark type, and so obviously these are going to hurt the Bronzong more than the confusions are hurting the Scrappy.
Yeah, like it was a bit of a strange switch from my opponent. Maybe it was just a reflex thing. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, there's no point in blocking any of this.
No,
even if it was a bulldoze, I mean, it would still not do enough damage to take out the Scrappy.
Yeah,
so you're in a very, very comfortable position.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you choose to let the Scrappy go down, even though I had a foul play ready, mostly because a lot of energy on this Politoed, and he's got to go for an Earthquake if he has it to knock out this Politoed. So.
Yeah, Politoed just felt like the safer win con. Yeah, I mean, I've still got a Psyshock on Bronzong as well, so yeah, it just seemed like a choice. Like I think it was game over regardless. I think, but probably.
I like your confidence that you still don't even bother shielding, even though this is. Oh, and the opponent reveals that it is indeed a Sludge Wave. Okay.
So that's useful for me to know, because that means Bronzong's now not even. It's like still obviously Swampert's still the best thing for Bronzong on his team, but the fact that there's not an Earthquake threat there, it's huge.
Right. I always. Unless it's an actual dire situation, try not to reveal a second move on things that could be guessable. Like a Politoads, or in this case a Swampert. Is it running Sludge Wave or is it running Earthquake? I know not everyone plays it that way, because sometimes it's your win condition too, and then you have to debate, was it worth hiding information versus actually taking the win?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one.
Honestly, in that situation, I think I would have known that I was going to lose, and I probably would have just gone straight Hydro Cannons.
Yeah, I think I did the same.
Everyone plays a little bit differently. Let's look at game number 2 here. We have a very, exciting match.
Yeah.
So how do you like to play out the mirrors? It's always different per Pokemon, I imagine, but are you a baiter, or are you always going for them? Ooh, you are a switcher. Look at you catching on the Scrappy.
Well, in this particular matchup, I just know that I got to keep Bronzong safe, and I'm in for a good time. So this way, I didn't have to use a shield or energy. Obviously, this isn't great for me, but I can still do a big chunk and then come back in with Bronzong and get even more energy. So. Yeah, and that is part of the reason why I'm running Bulldozer over Payback as well, because obviously Bulldozer still isn't great versus Scrafty, but it's a step up from Payback or Psyshock.
Indeed. So you go ahead and let Scrafty go down. And now, what is your thought process here? You have two things that are fairly deep. I mean, Politoed obviously doesn't have that great of an answer now, but the Noctowl is kind of low.
Yeah.
So is it again the just almost farming all the way down scenario?
I think I come in and absorb the energy with Bronzong, and then if I remember rightly, I think I switched to Politoed.
Oh yeah, look at you! Your memory is sharp. So yeah, charging up just a little bit of extra energy, throwing this Weather Ball. Noctowl is a very bulky bird, as we know.
Yeah.
At that range, Weather Ball is able to take it out, and now. We're probably going to see the Bronzong is going to come back and okay. Is this an indication to you that probably Swampert is in the back when you see this Bronzong?
Yeah, Swampert's probably in the back, and most importantly, the Ivysaur wasn't there.
Yeah.
But Swampert being in the back is, or Swampert probably being in the back is, seems confirmed here, or Crustle. But as we say, I'm pretty sure it'll be Swampert because he needs it for the Bronzor. So I imagine a shield, yeah.
Yeah.
Shield, please, please shield.
Yeah. So, again, I really like your overcharging with the Politoed. You know, obviously, any extra energy is an advantage going into this final matchup, which is indeed the Swampert. You guys both still have a 1 shield. This feels very similar to the game before, although now your Politoed is much lower health, but your Bronzong has much more health. However, those Hydro Cannons will definitely hurt the Bronzong, so...
Yeah, but because I've been saving that energy throughout the game, I'm able to get to a couple really quickly.
Yeah, he's got no choice but to shield it up, and now you are at another one before he's able to reach the Hydro Cannon. What is your thought here? Are you going to shield if the Hydro Cannon goes to get it with the energy of the confusion? Oh yeah, definitely at this point, right?
Yeah.
No need. No need.
need.
Never mind,
Yeah.
Matthew.
Yeah, so fairly comfortable round 1 win. Then round 2 was up against this guy who I was really, really rooting for from the beginning. I saw the Marshtomp and I saw the Quilladin. I was like, I want this guy to do well.
I think I played in round 3.
Oh, really?
I'm like, the name definitely rings a bell.
Does the Marshtomp Quilladin core ring a bell? Like, that's pretty...
Yeah. I think it was the Azu and the Ninetales that ended up doing me in, but yeah. Actually, I think this is one of the games I was building my team. I smashed him game 1 because I ended up getting Pro Ball against like Obstagoon in the back, and then he had Scrafty, but it was like shield down, and I just farmed down his entire Pro Ball.
Nice.
So it was just game over. And then in the second one, it was like I was building my team, and instead of going for Obster in the back, I went Frostlass, and he had Pro Ball, and I would have just farmed him down with 2 shields.
Oh, that's
like, that's just cost me.
Yeah. Well, this particular team, like teams like this, were why I was really keen on Politoed, because like it's safe. Like apart, obviously, it's not safe versus Quilladin, but
everything else is pretty much fair game in that.
Exactly, and Golbat is safe versus everything apart from the Probo, and then so I expect we'll see a couple of so first game make the Bronzong, Politoed, Golbat, then we'll just have a look. We'll crack on. So shocking lead, not what you want to be seeing.
Yeah.
So do me old safe swap. This is not good.
It's got some bad silver, I guess. The Bronzong lead's interesting. I'm guessing Scrafty beats it. Azu's pretty neutral, and you've got Ninetales and Marshtomps in there as well.
Yeah, the Bronzong lead was to cover the Quilladin and Probo pass, which I struggled with in the back.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So get the poison sign off.
I wonder how little is it going to do.
Oh, it's pitiful, isn't it? It's pitiful. Probably backing with Bronzong, maybe. Been a while since I've seen these now, so anything could happen.
I'm guessing you've got Bulldoze on Bronzong, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. I soak up the energy with Bronzong and then come in with Toad.
Yeah, win CMP and then either force a shield or take it out. I mean, as long as there's not Quilladin in the back, it's still okay here. And I'm assuming because he shields that, he doesn't have a grass in the back.
It's prime opportunity to go to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think I remember how this game plays out. I go for the Earthquake, genuinely not knowing how much this does.
Oh yeah, this chunks.
I remember being disappointed. Yeah, I was expecting a bit more. I don't really know why. But
Probably you've probably seen it versus the non-XL one,
perhaps.
because non-XL is like around half, doesn't it? Maybe a bit more.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of then. I was hoping to catch a play rough there, maybe.
Yeah, I'm assuming they've got hydro pump. Oh, ice beam. So that makes no sense. I'm confused as to what they're doing there. Because if they have play rough ice beam, why not just throw a play rough?
Well, maybe they were hoping to get a shield. So I go for an under farm here. But charge for shields. That's painful.
Just miss out on that. Yeah.
Didn't think a weather ball would be enough to kill.
It is soft.
I thought I'd make sure of
It
that.
would have been. Yeah, it would have been close.
That's like normally I'm not very good at counting, so I was a bit surprised that I went for 4 mud shots there. I must have felt really confident he was energy dry.
Yeah, he'd just thrown it, hasn't he? I'm guessing this is a play rough then. Yeah. That makes Bronzong very good against it though.
Well, that was why I wasn't so bothered about Azu's in the finals, because every Azu I came across didn't have hydro pump. So, yeah,
I think every single one I saw did.
just good
It's
IVs.
a weird set.
Good IVs of the polyps coming through. There.
Yeah,
I agree.
There.
I always run hydro pump on Azu.
I was tempted to run it, but then I was like, nah, no one's running 10 pointers. And then it's like 3 Azus or something like that, and I was like, what's this?
Yeah, 3 of my 10 get 5 of my 10 in total. Azu. So, what?
I was just praying I didn't see an Altaria, which I didn't, because it just ran through my team.
So this is a fairly solid lead for me.
Yeah, I don't think you could get a much better lead, could you really?
No. Interesting that I choose to go to Bronzer. Maybe thinking that it's a good opportunity to keep it away from Ninetales.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, this is just, that does a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the defense drop isn't gonna help me a great deal.
No, but I guess he can't come back in with Pro Ball, can he? So
No, that's true. Yeah.
he should be okay.
I remember this moment thinking, do I shield? Do I shield? Do I shield? Do I shield? Do I shield?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous how close that is.
Well, that was with the defense drop, so that wasn't.
Yeah, but even so, like, he resists all of its moves.
So I wasn't going to make the bulldoze there. The toad in there. Just
Yeah.
Nice bit of RPS.
Yeah.
You'd love to see it.
It's just over, isn't it?
And this particular matchup, Golbat versus Scrafty, I remember from Rose Cup, because back then Poison Fang didn't have the debuff.
Yeah, it was a lot more dirty back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, Scrafty actually won the zeros, which was
Power up punch and then a foul play.
Yeah, might even have been. Yeah. Well, I think if you had like a couple of counters, you could get double foul play as well. But yeah, with these days with the Poison Fang.
Oh no, Poison Fang is just ridiculous. It's so good.
So the Pro Pass comes back again.
Yeah, I mean this was over the second you went Bronzong over Golbat. This was just decided, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise I'd have ended up with Bronzong versus Scrafty. So
yeah. In
hindsight, a good. Well,
I mean, I guess, yeah, he quits as well.
Yeah, so that was it. He didn't want to play a third. So
yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, after that, didn't want to deal with it again.
Yeah. So first Azu team of the day dealt with quite confidently. As I say, a bit lucky with some alignment there.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're player of Ice Beam, you've got quite a decent setup against it with Golbat, Politoed, and Bronzong. It's just those Hydro Pump ones that can take on Bronzong.
Yeah. But what I thought was nice about the whole Bronzong, Politoed, Golbat thing is that once I know what set they're running, like if they haven't got Ice Beam, Golbat's much safer. If they haven't got Hydro Pump, Bronzong's much safer. If they haven't got Player of Politoed, much safer. So there's always going to be one of them which is a really good counter.
What did you have on Milotic fast move wise?
Oh, Dragon Tail. Yeah, Dragon Tail.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was going to say even that wouldn't be terrible if they had Hydro Pump Ice Beam, but with Dragon Tail you're a bit stuffed, aren't you?
Well, that's why I ended up running Hyper Beam on it, just in case.
Yeah.
But it never got to that, unfortunately. Yeah, so that worked quite well because the Dark type, because Golbat sort of broke the Azu Scrafty core. In round 3, all of a sudden the Dark type is Spyless, and it becomes a bit trickier. Because I can still use Golbat to break that core. Then all of a sudden, it's a bit iffier versus Spyless, and then Lucario and Quilladin and Survivor are potentially a bit more problematic.
Survivor's that's gone so under the radar for so many, but it looks really solid now.
Yeah, Poison Jab, Poison Fang, solid.
I'm surprised you're not. I mean, I guess you want to keep Golbat kind of safe in the back, but I mean, leading it here looks very strong. I'm guessing Swilus in the 2s is now interesting.
Yeah, so I imagine Golbat beats Swilus in 2s. But
yeah, just because of how soft it is with those defense drops.
I would have thought that would be about it. So yeah, I think my thinking here is try and use Golbat to win switch alignment, and then bank on them bringing Azu and Swilus in one combat, one way or another, and then line up Bronzong and Scrafty that way. If he brings Charizard, I'm in for a bit of trouble.
I remember the Scrafty matchup being not too bad in Rose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm expecting wing attack Charizard, to be honest. I did look at Charizard here, and it was wing attack look, which I looked at. But yeah, Scrafty. Yeah, because the fire spins aren't super effective. Scrafty matchup isn't terrible.
Yeah.
Right, I'll hit play. Yeah.
These leads just keep getting better for you, don't they?
I won 5 leads all day.
Oh my god.
So this is it. So I have to do my save swap, and then presumably I try and win switch here.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't shield the first poison fang here, so that goes through.
Yeah, but still, that does what? That's still a decent chunk.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so soft. No shield in return.
I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have shielded that.
Yeah, it does a decent chunk, doesn't it?
I love a body slam. Love a body slam. Although I suppose now I've got shield advantage with Bronzong and his dark types down.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing that. I mean, obviously, if he's got Charizard in the back, you're in a bit of trouble. But other than that, you're probably in a good position here.
Yeah, no need to shield this, knowing that I'm walked by the Azu.
Yeah.
Interesting that I'm staying in.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
I was going to say. I mean, I'm guessing you're waiting for him to burn his energy.
Yeah, possibly, or maybe just try and
chip away.
Yeah, get him within farm down range, maybe. But it's not saving a great deal of energy.
Yeah, I was expecting him to just farm to 100. I'm guessing he's going to farm down now, though, isn't he? So.
Well, that's what I thought. So I thought we'll not let him do that.
Yeah.
in quickly. So all of a sudden, it's looking quite good for me.
Yeah, this is such a good position. Like, because obviously he's going to have to burn his shield on this, and you'll beat him to a move. Body slam. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to
Yeah,
burn
they
the
just bounced off as well.
Yeah, he wants to
I
burn
mean,
those
that
shields.
that was his only play, wasn't it? Really.
It's brave. It's getting low health at this point.
I was just trying to think, like, but then again, I guess you're still all right here, because Azu's no way farming you down from there.
No. Maybe to get one cheeky confusion through on another charge. Oh, so yeah, no, it's just a case of yeah,
just getting up to 2 side shocks and that's it. I'm surprised by how many ice beam Azus there are.
Yeah, it's not like Venusaur's running around a great deal.
No, there really wasn't much. There wasn't that much grass, really, was there? Not compared to usual.
Oh, that was it. I remember. Yeah, I thought I did that. I over-tapped.
Jesus.
And I remember just be like, please don't be mid-bubble, please don't be mid-bubble. And then... ridiculous. Like, imagine if I'd have lost that.
I'm pretty sure you had a bulldoze there at the end. You should have just bulldozed him.
Yeah, I could have done.
Imagine if you losing that way would have been brutal.
Yeah, and especially given that I qualified on games 1 as well.
Yeah.
So I mix it up a little bit. Obviously, another knock with the lead. And I suppose this.
You can't take an earthquake, can you? This is fairly even.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to risk the bait. Yeah, I always underestimate how much the body slams do.
Yeah, it's such a high attack stat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Galv with lunge.
Yeah, if we look for lunges, always hurt a little bit more. So in retrospect, I mean, I didn't know this matchup. I could have gone for a bait, but
yeah, the ones there look really nice.
But you live and learn. But I could come in with Scrafty and then try and do the thing with Bronson in the back again, I suppose. So still.
Yeah, well, we know what his ice beam. Oh, and Charizard's here. This isn't too bad, I guess. Shield up.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as he's not Hydro Pump, he should be all right.
Well, then I do this silly thing. Well, at this point, I guess in my head, the win con now is him not having Azu in the back, which is why I do that.
Yeah, but it is Azu in the back, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it was good to be Azu in the back. So that was why I did that. I was banking on the Scrappy this time, but then
yeah. I wonder if you could have shielded and farmed down with Scrappy, taking a chunk out of Azu, played out the ones.
Yeah, looking back now, yeah. But then I still think, well, I've got Bulldoze for Swilus. Maybe I could have got around that.
Yeah. Even so, like, it was pretty low, wasn't it?
What, the Charizard?
The
there's
wireless.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, maybe I could have played around it. In my head at the time, it just seemed like, well, if he's got Azu in the back, I lose. May as well go for it, sort of thing.
Yeah, one of those just in the moment. You've got to. It's like when you somehow their first Pokemon or their switching ends up beating 2 of yours, and then you end up with one Pokemon in the back that lines up perfectly. They're the ones you love to see. Ooh, him shielding that. I don't know if.
Well, yeah. So I've not quite given up yet because he's been shielding power.
Yeah.
Punches, but then.
He's got a move ready. Yeah, he's not as low as I thought he was.
So yeah, that takes it down to the decider really.
Mm.
So now I'm thinking I can't lose the lead to Vilas or Azu. So, and I want to keep Golbat safe. I presume I brought Golbat. I didn't quite catch that, but so yeah, lead the Rapidash straight into the Survivor.
Oh no. That's a brilliant lead. Oh, it's Poison Jab as well.
Really safe spot.
I mean, at least you've got the guy. Yeah, I was going to say at least you've got the Golbat on the safe swap.
Yeah. So just got to try and win switch back here. So surely I've learnt my lesson now. Shield this, yeah. There we go.
Mm.
Not enough body slams through this match already.
Yeah, and you've Politoed in the back as well, which I'm assuming is okay against a Viper with the super effective mud shots and weather ball being so spammy.
And Survivor's not bulky at all either.
No. I mean, looking at it has a very soft team.
Mm.
I mean, other than obviously Azu and Cooladin, because of four, are very soft.
So yeah, this is a mistake. Should have gone for the farm down, but rather than trying to beat him to the body slam, and I think that's ultimately what cost me the game because I think
You would have
Charizard
come out of this with a move ready.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's game, isn't it?
Yeah, because then Toad would have just gone through him.
I guess you could try catch Dragon Claw, but then you're just going to get farmed down, aren't you?
Well, I was hoping to try and sack the just try and sack it in general to the blast burn, but I just mistimed it, just missed it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'd live a blast burn, wouldn't it? Because it's
it wouldn't enjoy living it.
No, it'd be just low enough.
So in retrospect as well, this is probably a mistake going for the body slam. I probably needed to get that shield and bait a psychic maybe.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't have.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No way was I getting there.
Part one of Rapidash being pretty much useless.
Yeah. That was the one time I used it all the time. When you get lined up versus
Learned your lesson after that.
Yeah. And then I just can't quite make it to the double.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have stayed in with Charizard a little bit longer and been a bit braver. But yeah, it was a tough one. Like the thing that really cost me was throwing with the Golbat and not going to the farm down.
Yeah, because obviously they're going to win CMP anyway.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that was a bit of a. After that I just thought I've just lost to a Survivor. Like that's yeah. It wasn't.
To be fair, before the Poison Fang buff, I saw it like way back in GBL, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then I realised it's got like Poison Jab, Poison Fang. Just needed that one update, didn't it?
Yeah. So and there's not many mons that get that combination.
No.
Other than Nido Queen and Nidorina that get it. Other than that, I think Survivor's just the only one. So. Yeah, because I wanted it in the big 40-person draft. Snagged from. So we'll move on. Try not to dwell on that. And then round 4 is sort of similar. As in Charizard again, scrapped.
Yeah.
Again, got to rely on Golbat a bit here.
But he's also got 2 anti-flyers here. I'm guessing Golbat Bronzong is pretty even though, with the Shadow Balls and the bait knocking about.
Yeah, if you can land a Shadow Ball after a Poison Fang, you'll win. And so the Bronzongs often go for full farm downs, so it happens sometimes. Again, just got to. It just feels a little bit lead dependenty, sort of. Yeah, got the Toad to try and deal with the Azu. Scrappy.
Yeah, Toad looks good overall. I mean, obviously you've got Charizard, Flygon depending on moves, Graveler depending on moves again, and then you've got Bronzong, and obviously Scrafty probably beats you in the 2s.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just sort of maybe I was hoping that I could just win the league with Toad and then try RPSing in the back with Golbat and Scrafty.
Yeah.
See what happens. It's not what I want, really.
Yeah, not all.
I think I just stay in.
Yeah, I think it's not terrible because obviously if they go Pup first and you no shield, just makes it a bit better for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely win cons, and then he doesn't even go to a foul play. So, as you say,
yeah,
no, he's Pup.
Yeah, I guess if you already know you're going to go Pup, but going for it straight away, it's fair enough.
Yeah, makes sense. So then we see this matchup. So I go for the bait. It's back. So as I say, he tries going for the farm down.
Yeah, he was never getting there.
So he's got a shield.
Yeah, that's game, isn't it? That's just
it.
Game.
I've got Swish and Shield.
Yeah, and Azu in the back as well.
I can Poison Fang it, and then Politoad's going to beat it comfortably.
Double weak to Golbat. This line, like, it's quite risky, especially with how, like, if Golbat leads into something that it's good against, that's almost game because of how the Poison Fangs just sort of stack, and then you can throw one just before you go down, and that.
Yeah, it's not like you let
makes
Bronzong.
them such good leads. Yeah, like Nidoqueen in the lead, in the 2s beating like Rainy Castform and stuff like that.
And it's just chaos, isn't it?
Yeah, it flips the entire thing on its head. Like you think, oh yeah, it should beat this, and then suddenly their poison jobs are doing like 15 damage.
So good for the farm down.
Yeah, this game's over.
Yeah, the bait was the big thing there, and that's what I like about Golbat. Golbat and Muck were the sort of only poison types I was looking at really, and Crobat, because they've got big dark or ghost moves to hit the Bronzongs.
Yeah, Shadow Golbat was the one I was looking at, but I need to TM mine still.
Oh right.
I was like, can I get away with just running Poison Fang? Probably not.
Definitely not. That defeats the object of. Well, that's what it isn't. When Bronzong's so big.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just that's game one, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. So a good start after. I mean, that's the thing with Golbat being solid against Bronzong. I'm surprised he didn't go Graveler, but I'm guessing he's worried about the Politoed Bronzong.
Yeah, maybe.
And Scrafty. And obviously he doesn't know what you've got on Milotic either, which makes that a iffy matchup, I'm guessing.
I can't say I know the Milotic Graveler matchup, to be honest, mate.
I'm just waiting for it to show up and try get to a Hyper Beam.
It only comes round 5. It only comes round 5, so you'll be missing it. But yeah. Try mixing it up this time. This time he does lead the Golbat counter. So as you were saying, like if Golbat gets a good lead, so I think we both cottoned onto that game too. Unfortunately for me,
still he doesn't really. Yeah, like looking at it again, he's not got really great answer to Politoed switching in because obviously Scrafty's got a bait right. I mean, they chunk and they come so fast.
Yeah.
Especially with all this is the thing I hate about Politoed specifically, is that if it's sneaking in mud shots, it's just brutal.
Yeah, it's taking it down. But it's cutting 25% of its charge move time down.
Yeah.
retrospective. Oh, I'm glad I shielded that. Yeah, retrospectively, I definitely
Yeah.
need to win Switch here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or
So-
draw him into the zeros, because then Golbat should be able to get to a Shadow Ball, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I think
But
I
I'm
do.
assuming it's Elzu in the back.
Yeah, I think I do neither. Let it through. Needed to. Ah, okay. It's not too bad all of a sudden.
Yeah, suddenly now he's down a shield. If he shields this going into Golbat straight away, looks good.
So I'll switch back. Oh, I'm an idiot. What am I? I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I'm
think it
assuming
makes
you
any
think
difference.
he's at a foul play, which
Yeah.
he is. Yes, but that would have hurt. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, because I've lost Switch anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I retract that previous statement. So I have to shield.
Yeah. How much does it do without a Poison Fang?
Not enough.
Yeah. So that means
I think I go for the Poison Fan plus Shadow Ball. So no. Oh. I think. Close.
yeah, he's at one now as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to win that. I don't think.
I think if you went to, I don't know if the switch clock was up yet, but if you went straight to Golbat when he threw that power up punch, you might have been able to farm down before.
Yeah, but I
Before
still
the
end up
drop.
with Scrafty versus Azu. Don't I?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the energy advantage might have kept you a bit healthier against Bronzong, and then Poison Fangs into Azu are not what he really wants, is it?
No, that's true. Yeah, maybe.
Would have made it closer for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a bit more conscious of the Azu this time, so I don't bring the Scrafty.
Mm.
So I safe switch me
It's
to.
not just not your day.
No, definitely not.
I mean, saying that by this point, I think I was like 1 and 3.
Well, this will put me 2 and 2. So at this point, I'm not doing a great deal better.
I think just keeping it neutral or positive is a massive thing during it.
Yeah, you've always got a chance at that point. Yeah, certainly early on.
Yeah. Like I remember, I think I pulled it back to 3 and 3 for the last round, but by that point I was knackered.
Oh, the missed date there is huge as well.
Yeah, and he's going to get there just before.
So had I gone for Earthquake, I could have shielded up and taken Switch off him.
Yeah.
Surely into
I'm
Bronzong
assuming
now.
Bronzong, yeah. Because we just know there's a Scrafty in the back.
Yeah, and we know he's not got a Hydro Pump.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're just going to farm.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
They just bounce, these moves just sort of, or at least farm up a little.
Go on, all the way. Yeah, Bronzong's useless.
I mean,
I've lost Switch and he's got
Yeah.
Scrafty in the back. Bronzong's completely useless.
yeah. So, I mean, really, we need there to be no Bronzong here in the back.
Yeah,
I'm guessing there
or Graveler. for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more RPS in a sense.
Brave on my opponent's part to switch immediately though, because had I done
Yeah.
something a bit silly, like if there was no immediate rush there, like had I done something a bit silly and
Stayed in.
yeah. But yeah, you don't do that at this level really.
Well, I think he's just Then again, you are up to. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
but
low,
no,
isn't it?
yeah, no else.
I was gonna say, for half a second I thought Scrafty was still about, but no, it didn't even come this run.
No, I was just so scared of the Azu by this point.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing. Jesus.
I don't know why I'm persisting. Just it's almost like I'm trying to put myself through the pain at this point.
Nah, yeah, I get it. You don't want to lose with 2 shields.
That's it. I have a habit of doing that. That's exactly. Yeah. So that pulls me back to 2-2. Like, real panic setting in at this moment in time. Like started off so strong, then I've used the rapid F once and it didn't go well. I've not used the melodic yet, and then into round 5, which Amanda sort of tried before. So yeah, we can go over to that.
So I remember seeing here, I don't really want to use Polysode because there's Pelipper there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really in Blizzard, so I'm walled heavily. But I looked at this team and I thought, there's not a huge deal for Melodic here. I believe the opponent is Belgian, I think. Is it?
Yeah, I was like, the name is definitely very familiar to me. So,
right. Yeah,
what
it was
was you
just
doing competing in yours? Well, who am I to talk? I was competing in the US.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did here. I just remember I used Melodic all 3 because I didn't really want to use Polysode.
It's your other water here.
Let's see
Because we have a legend already in GBL. Are you ever threatened when you see the poses?
No, not really. Oh, this isn't good.
This isn't good indeed. What are your thoughts? Immediate swap to your safe swap here, which is the melodic.
Yeah, straight in there.
This Dragon Tail's obviously chunking and charging up fairly decently. You're going. You're not even charging up all the way. You're going for a bait here, and if they are familiar at all, they probably won't block. Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to throw my energy before they got to theirs, because that way there's less chance of them baiting and me shielding, that sort of thing. So I tried to call the bait. Obviously, it didn't go very well.
And now, what are your thoughts? Because neither one of these do spectacular against Pelipper. Pelipper is a nice little 4-breaker, I guess. Did you see many of them in this cup?
Not a great deal. I think this might have been the only one. But yeah, as
so
much as I'm going.
Basically, right now you are putting all your money on Scrafty.
Oh yeah. Because the Pelipper's down. So Scrafty is one of those ones that if you get the power-up punches rolling, it can just cut through teams.
You're not worried at all about the Galarian Surfet?
A little bit, but I think it's just.
You also were lucky that they didn't call your bait either. Are you guys saving your shields for the next game, or?
This is it. All in on Scrafty. All in on Scrafty. That was the plan. Because if it was, if they had their own Scrafty in the back, all of a sudden I want to shield the power-up punches. Yeah. So I think I get the shield on the power-up punch there.
Yeah, and this is actually great for you because Quagsire is a pretty good one. I was like, Matthew, you better shield. That was the latest shield I've seen. But Quagsire charges up actually kind of slow because both of its charge moves are nukes. So this is a great position for your Scrafty to be in. They don't bother shielding up the foul play, thinking it's probably another power-up punch. And at this point, you are in a very, very good position, able to probably even counter it down. So
yeah, between Scrafty and Melodic, there's a lot of that pair puts a lot of pressure on their Pelipper. So they have to, it's sort of a bit of guesswork what they want them to be lined up against. So I was quite happy with that. I think, again, I can't quite remember what happens in game 2. I think I was probably expecting Scrafty here, so or certainly I was expecting something for them to deal a bit better with my Scrafty, because.
Were you a little bit worried when the Hurricane basically took out your Melodic? Were you thinking that maybe you had played it a bit wrong, or were you still cool as a cucumber? I
was okay, because I left it so low by the end of that the Pelipper was practically dead, and that was the thing that was standing in the way of the Scrafty sweep. So
this is a great lead for you. So, immediate swap out into that Pelipper. Pelipper now used as a safe swap, and you are staying into or foul play. Okay, because you want to get its energy or health at least down a little bit. Even though the health will be down, Pelipper with energy is probably the most dangerous thing on this guy's team.
Yeah. So I go to Golbat rather than Milotic just to help keep it away from Bronzong a bit. But I know if I can keep Switch here, that's the important thing because of Scrafty versus Bronzong in the back with the Pelipper gone. So yeah, so that's why I didn't go to Milotic as well, because if I can keep Switch, then Milotic's not against Bronzong, and yeah, it just feels to me like prioritizing Switch advantage here is massive.
So you'll be down a shield, but at least you'll get things lined up better. And like you said, the Bronzong will probably go in, but at this point you might have a Shadow Ball and you'll take that shield back almost immediately. Oh, wow, okay. You almost forget how quickly these weather balls come in, but you probably not, since you have that Politoed on your team. Your opponent's always thinking the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a bit of energy as well left over, so if it does come back in with Bronzong, maybe I can get to a Shadow Ball.
Mm-hmm. And you see it come in, that confusion looks like it just registered, so let's see if they decide to block up this Shadow Ball. They don't, knowing that Scrafty is probably going to do heavy damage on it anyway, and you do an immediate swap out to the Scrafty.
Yeah, so I can, just so I can start getting the counter damage, start getting the counter energy coming through, in case I have to land a foul play on a Haunter perhaps or something like that. Wanted to be a bit faster to it.
Oh, smart. Okay, yeah. Again, it's that Quagsire. We've seen this before. However, this time you are out of shields, and therefore the Scrafty has done its job and will retreat silently back into its ball. Yeah,
he's been a good boy. He's done his thing. Golbat here to try and burn a bit of energy because he's got to throw if he's gonna. Yeah, he's got to throw his energy if he's gonna take me out.
And now load it for the sweep here, because even with the Bronzong, even if it's at a Psyshock, won't do enough to take out this. And I don't know if a Boulder was good at this range either. Have you faced this problem yet? Because they still do have a shield, but very, very low health.
Yeah, it's one of them where overall it's a nice matchup for Bronzong, but the zeros isn't too bad because the Surf's hurt and the Psyshock's hurt as well. So zeros isn't too bad. So when there's this much of a health discrepancy, it's the power of Dragon Tail is too much.
Even though it's resisted off of the steel typing, it's able to barely take it out. All right. So now your confidence is a bit restored.
Yeah, much happier now, and I felt a bit more confident in the team as well because it's it no longer felt like Milotic and Rapidash were sat there being a waste of space. I felt a bit more assured in that regard as well.
So get it back on track after round 5, then see this very, very strange looking team in round 6. Sliggoo.
I faced one in round 7. I swear to God, if we played 2 of the same people and you beat them both and I didn't, I looked at the team in round 7 that had a Sliggoo and I went, right, something that have beats all of these, and I can't remember what it was. I don't know what it was, but something beat this entire team, and I was like, all right, this should be a pretty standard 4-3, same as last year, and then he absolutely smacked me with it, and I was
wow.
Well.
I'll put up a little notification or something in case it is the same person. But yeah, I saw this and I expected Charm on Gallade as well. Just because. Yeah. Why would you not? If you want to do confusion, you're doing slot 4. Why would you not run Bronzong?
I'm guessing maybe to fight back against Scrafty a little bit, but that's not right. Not a matchup you want to be in, is it?
No, definitely not.
And he already has a fighter.
Yeah, that's true. So
but then again, double close combat users in the zeros, this team is looking scary.
It is. But Golbat looks really good versus him.
Oh yeah.
Golbat
does it lose to anything? I'm assuming Saberlife's kind of close because it resists the poison fang.
Yeah, Saberlife's close, but I think if you go straight Shadow Ball, as long as you've got or if you go Shadow Ball first, as long as you've got like a wing attack or 2 advantage, then you can flip it. That's another one.
Gallade's pretty even on the swap.
Yeah, well, if Gallade's charm, it's completely walled.
Yeah. If it's confusion, it's fairly even because those wing attacks add up.
Yeah. Now the Sableye one was probably the biggest one for Golbat, but again, that's something I know from Rose Cup was that Golbat versus Sableye isn't that bad. Ferrothorn might have Thunder, which you've got to watch out for. So, yeah. Scrafty as well takes on the Sableye, Ferrothorn, and Ninetales and Slivy quite nicely, I was assuming. And I just didn't think that they'd bring both Gallade and Hitmontop, given that I've got the Rapidash and the Golbat.
Yeah, and even Bronzong, because Bronzong will take both as well.
Yeah, as a chat. Yeah, so see what happens. So Scrafty into Ninetales, pretty neutral, but I have to switch out because I think I decided early on in this game that I had to save the Scrafty for the Sableye. Given I've got Bronzong, and I'm quite happy switching to Golbat on the save search.
I wonder how. I'm assuming that he's gone for that because he's expecting you to shield. But I don't think I saw a single Shadow Ninetales with Psyshock.
Oh,
that's big.
Well,
yeah,
he never shielded the first one from Golbat, so that's why I went straight to Shadow Ball. And then all of a sudden, Bronzong's not worried about it.
Yeah, because that's like one or two confusions away from game over.
And this Sableye being in here is awesome as well because I can come in with Scrafty after this. And
all of a sudden Bronzong's looking very, very good in the back. But like again, double Bronzong counters. So he's definitely worried about it.
Yeah,
which made me think that Gallade was charm. Because obviously, I mean, it's not great, it's not a matchup you want to be in, but close combat does hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And you're so much. It's not like Confusion's a fast charging move, but it's so much faster than charm.
You are getting, I don't even know I don't even think Gallade ever gets to it with charm. Like,
just never.
It's just not around long enough, is it?
No.
Yeah, Ferrothorn.
No, I just went straight for the foul play to try and get some damage before I saw what it was.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because I've done a few pups already, the counters are just insane.
Yeah, they're just wailing on him at this point. Like I know he's stocking up on energy. He's 5 bullet seeds now, something like that. But Thunder's not that good of a move.
No, and he's a shield down now as well.
If it had Stab, it'd be a bit more scary, but
yeah. So I expect him to go for the bait first time round if he indeed has a bait move. So
to be quite honest, I'd be surprised if he revealed it here because I mean this is just even if he did get the bait, I don't think he'd be able to.
It's a lost cause.
KO, yeah.
Well, that's what I do the same. I go for double side shot.
Yeah.
Hold him back to the last move. Again, Bulldoze landing on that Ninetales might flip me something there.
Yeah. And there's the Thunder. There's just see after no shield in the first one, I just won't be revealing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a good call.
Because now your Golbat knows that it's got to watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scrafty's run right there, so I'm expecting to bring Hitmontop or Gallade this time, surely.
Yeah. Which makes Golbat look even better.
Leads Ninetales again. Interesting.
Just playing the old I'll lead the same thing all 3 games and watch them just lead 2 things after not seeing it game 1 and 2.
So that's a very late switch into Sableye. And again, he's got his 2 bronze on counters, but he's... Well, I suppose he's got energy on the Ninetales now. Yeah. Big hit.
Yeah, I'm assuming you win this now if you shield up.
Oh yeah, I'd have thought, especially now I'm going for a poison back.
Yeah, the wing attacks are just going to add up.
Brave.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm guessing now he takes switch though. But Scrafty gets to farm up. Oh.
Oh!
Oh. Now you've got to play the guessing game.
Yeah. Well, if I was him, I'd come in with Ninetales because he's got energy, so I go
Oh,
Scrafty.
yeah.
But yes, Ferrothorn in the back
And
again.
he's gonna Ferrothorn again.
So
This is still fine. You just get to build up here, don't you?
yeah, just power punch all the way.
Like, he should have probably switched straight away. It was probably his only chance. Like, I know he's going to get damage off here. I'm assuming a Weather Ball does more than a Power Whip.
Yeah, that's what I thought, so I can let this one through.
Yeah. Yeah, now he switches.
I imagine I just go straight ups here now.
Yeah.
Got a shield at some point, hasn't
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can just snuck one in as well there, which is decent.
Yeah, he's got a
Like,
shield.
he has to shield this. Yeah, he has to shield you. This is what, your second? I mean, he might. I don't even think he gets to the third before he does it. Nope. I'm assuming he lets this go.
I don't think it matters at this point. I think.
Yeah, no, this is over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised he shielded that. I mean, obviously, your Scrafty's just going to annihilate him in the back, but still.
Yeah. I mean, I was really surprised he didn't change up his team. I thought for sure he'd have something in the back to do with Scrafty.
Maybe he was expecting you to change up, but you won the lead, and strange.
Yeah, I lead the Toad this time, thinking he's led Ninetales, hasn't he? Both.
He's doing the same lead every game. It should be Ferrothorn this time. Oh, Gallade.
So he's changed something.
Is it Charm? Yeah. Oh, it's Charm as well. Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I'll be able to get to so many charge moves here.
Oh, I know.
And I've got Scrafty in the back, so it's like
Yeah, Scrafty's pretty much fully safe now, isn't it? Unless you've got him on top.
Yeah.
But if he's running double fighters,
Yeah, that's can't
he's asking for that goal bat lead, isn't it?
So yeah, just happy to take a shield
Yeah.
advantage, then come in with Golbat.
Yeah, I think I might have shielded there and then tried to play out the ones, but then again, you just get to farm down here, don't you? And he's got nothing to really threaten your Golbat up a shield and up energy.
Yeah. This is 50%. Like it hurts.
Yeah. I'm assuming up shields it beats his entire team neutrally anyway, but up shields and energy, it's just game. I think maybe Ninetales, if it had Psy Shock, would be a bit of a problem, but it's a shadow, so you can just poison fang it away, can't you?
Yeah, and then counter through it. Ooh,
That's a nice catch.
sure enough at this point.
Yeah.
Not necessarily nice. So I've been going power at punch all the way through the game, so let's mix it
Might
up.
as well. Yeah. It gets worse and worse for him.
Yeah, I just called everything right this game. Really.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was like 3 counters worth of time. What's the point?
I know. Oh well. it's what it is, isn't it? I was a bit gutted I didn't get to see the slinger really.
Yeah.
But
I'm not giving you the footage of it being used against me because I played terrible. I look at that team and I look at mine and I think, how did I not beat this?
oh dear.
Just one of them.
Yeah. Bad day, perhaps. So yeah, that was round 6. And then 4-2 with having won 14 of 18 at this point. I knew if I won the last one,
Yeah.
it would be another good chance. We'll switch over to Amanda.
When it came up that it was on Kent Beast, I was quite pleased, not because he's a bad player or anything, but because we've played a fair bit in the past, and so it takes away that fear of the unknown a little bit.
Right. Yeah, you kind of know the style. Does this person like to bait? Probably essentially what moves they're running, whether they're aggressive or if they're more of a safe person. Yep.
Yeah, in my head, like the Galvantula is really good versus me, so I know that's going every game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Bronzong's my only thing that properly beats it, and even that's a bit sketchy. So
With the Probo Pass on his team, what are you thinking about that? You know, because obviously if you have to bring Bronzong, like you said, you kind of know this player and you know his style. So he knows as well that you have to bring the Bronzong against him. So what are you imagining he's going to bring it? Is this going to turn into a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors scenario?
So if I was him, that's how I'd be playing it. I thought if I was him, and again based on my experience playing him before, I was expecting either a Dragonite or Probo Pass lead, with Galvantula sort of safe swap. He doesn't know that I'm running Bulldoze on Bronzong, so he's perhaps thinking that that Probo Pass has a much better time versus Bronzong than it does in actual fact, because I do have Bulldoze. So my big thing was lead Bronzong, because that allows me to keep switch versus the Galvantula if he tries to safe switch the Galvantula, and then have something in the back that can take on Probo Pass well, and then something in the back that's at least neutral versus Dragonite. So I think
that's also a bit of the problem, since I'm not sure if he knows that your Politoed is not running Blizzard either, but the Bronzong is also probably one of the best answers to the Shadow Dragonite as well. But unfortunately for Bronzong, you can only do so much per game. So it's either going to be your Galvantula counter or your Dragonite.
Yeah, well, I think I brought Golbat in the back, knowing that it's not actually a terrible matchup versus Galvantula, because certainly if you've got one or two wing attacks, because Galvantula can't really bait versus, it can't go for the lunges versus Golbat unless it's feeling really brave.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you're just really going to weather it down, not only with the wing attacks, but with the subsequential Poison Fangs, making the defense even lower. So you're going to hopefully just get that Galvantula out of there as soon as possible, even if it takes out your Golbat.
Yeah, and it can also do a similar thing versus the Dragonite as well. So that was the thinking, I think. Yeah.
Let's see if your memory serves you well.
I definitely lead Bronzong, and I can definitely remember that much.
You're right so far. Okay, you have Bronzong against the Probo Pass, and let's see what you have in the back. You have a Scrafty and a Golbat. Okay.
So happy enough staying in, because I know I'm going to win this.
Yep.
Because
and you can see that it is a Spark Probo Pass. So it's going to get to its moves very quickly, but not that it's going to be that effective against Bronzong here.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting him to shield, because most Bronzong run payback. So I'm hoping this goes through.
So you charged up a lot of extra, making him think that it could be a payback. He does not shield. Whoa, okay. This is what I was talking about. First time, it's almost necessary. You know, normally I like to hide the big move, but in this case, you kind of need it to take out this Probo Pass.
Yeah, definitely. I felt that was a bit quick to be on the Thunderbolt, so was a bit brave for that one. Get some damage on the Toad, and do I switch here? So I don't want him to farm.
Yeah, exactly. Golbat safe switch and kind of does what you expect him to do. Bring in that Galvantula, but you still have a little bit of health left on the Bronzong, so you're actually in a fairly good spot here.
Yeah, and and as I say, I've got those 2 wing attacks in on Golbat, so I know this matchup isn't terrible. So long as I'm sensible and shield. Don't try calling any baits. Yeah. So just chipping
Doing
away.
very well, charging up a little bit of extra energy, throwing before they can get to their second move. And now it is up to Unkept Beast, whether he wants to shield to keep this in play. He chooses to let the Golbat go, or not the Golbat, the Galvantula go down. In with that Polytoad.
And now, yeah, I'll let this through. I want to save my shield for Scrafty, so I can hopefully just counter through the Polytoad.
Mm-hmm.
Power up punches as well.
Yep. No use even bothering to go for a big move and bait because, yeah, at this little of health and with the subsequent power up punches making it even stronger, but yeah, you're in a really, really good position. Are you nervous for the second game? Because now that they know that you have Bulldoze, it does really flip the matches of the Provo Pass.
Nervous, yes, but it doesn't really. As far as I'm concerned, I still bring Bronzong. Yeah, maybe he doesn't bring Provo now. Yeah, I suppose there's only like I can only really think about what I can do, and even if he doesn't bring Provo Pass, like Bronzong's still really important. So there's a bit of more of an unknown factor about what he might do this game. But yeah, Bronzong's still important to me. I'll lead it again. Yeah, again, got to stop the Galvantula save switch.
So what are your thoughts? Because now I'm looking at, yeah, you have the Polytoad and a Scrafty in the back. Neither one did that great against Galvantula, but you were Galvantula hunting and you didn't find it with the Bronzong. And maybe as well, your opponent is a little bit wiser, thinking, I see what they did there. They needed that Galvantula out of the way.
Yeah, well, the thinking there with this particular move was that it might bait the Galvantula out, but if it doesn't, it might also bait a Dragonite out, which helps with my Polytoad in the back. I think I got a bit greedy on the farming there, so I have to shield. But this is still an okay position, I think.
They force the shield as well, and you'll definitely be able to get to at least one more beforehand, putting it down pretty low, and then that's even better for your Bronzong.
Yeah. So I expect this one probably gets shielded. Oh no. Okay.
You're like, no, I've already wasted one shield on you, but they had to throw because they knew that you could get to a power-up punch at the very least if they were just trying to bolt switch you down.
Yeah, sure.
So at least you're getting a little more energy again. Every little bit of energy counts. As we saw from that first game, you just saved up a ton of energy on your Bronzong and was able to throw like 2 Psyshocks against that Swampert. So it's kind of like a similar deal where you still have a Psyshock and a Bulldoze, it looks like, saved up on the Bronzong, now in the Polytoad near.
So I've kept trying to catch him throwing weather balls this game, and he never has happened. Yeah, I let that one through thinking he might bait, but he didn't. And then I let this one through thinking it came too fast.
And so now you are at the Earthquake as well, and they switch out to a Provo Pass.
Yeah, so I go for the weather ball here, thinking because I'm such low health, they might shield this and try and farm me down.
But no.
No.
But okay. Now you go for the Earthquake.
Yeah, because then that way I had the shield to the weather balls. I'd still that was the plan.
They're all in on their own Polytoad.
Yeah, and this weather ball's huge. Yeah, because it puts them in farm down or potential farm down range. At this point, I'm screaming at my phone for them to not to not have 100 energy bait saved up. But then I think the Psyshock went through, and then so a lot of relief.
Yes, I can imagine.
A huge amount of relief.
So yeah, that was it. Qualified.
Those leads were brutal.
I played 20 games because the round 2 didn't play the third, and I had 5 good leads, 5 neutral leads. But one of them we saw was earlier. I think it was Scrafty versus Ninetales, and I had to switch the Scrafty out to deal with the Sableye or something. So
Yeah.
So if I count that as a bad lead, I won 5 leads and had 4 neutral ones throughout that whole thing, and it did.
Shocking.
Yeah, but and it overall it didn't massively catch me out. But apart from those ones where it was the Azu Dark Cause.
Yeah, I've got my recordings here. I played this guy in round 7.
But it's right, fair enough. So it was.
Yeah,
the
it was the same. I was like, there's no way there's 2 people running Sliggoo in Continentals, and I didn't know about it.
What moves?
That guy.
What moves does it have?
It had Muddy Water Gun, and I don't know what the other one was.
So
yeah, and that. Wait, what was that? What was the guy you played earlier? Was it like Gianni Viz?
Yeah, Gianni Viz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I played him round 2, round 3.
So you played them both the round after I played.
Yeah. And lost to them both.
Sorry, mate.
You just pissed them off. That's what it is.
That's it, yeah.
You do, because you battered them both.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
No,
But who knows?
I was,
If you'd have beaten Gianni, we might have had to play him round.
that's what I was looking at. I was like, shit, if I win this and Brewer loses, we end up getting each other in round 4 rather than the usual round 3.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you always beat me in round 3, but I feel like my record outside of round 3 has been getting better this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt towards the end of the season, I've just been a bit tired of it.
Right,
like I went into Continentals and I'd been playing Unite all week. I hadn't done that much prep. I was happy with my team, and then I was like, as long as no one brings like Azu, I can deal with Scrafty on its own. But if it's with Azu, I just get shafted.
Yeah. Well, that's.
And then I looked at it, and there weren't that many Azus. There weren't that many Azus there, were there? It was like 1 in 6 or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal.
And then
I
faced quite a few.
Yeah. Well, this is I had 3 of them, and then but between 7 games here and the 3 games in the finals, between the 10, I played 5 Azus.
Yeah, I think I had one round 1, but I got Jirachi on it, and it was just like that was it. Because the team in the first round I faced was really weird. They had like Hariyama, Azu, can't remember what else, but I was looking at it like, this is first round, and what's this team?
Yeah.
And after such an easy first, like, it wasn't too easy. Like, I think I dropped game 3, but I was just testing stuff at that point.
I must admit that there was, like, given the potential this rule set had for there to be like lots of teams where you look at it and it's like, right, what's this? You know, given the potential there was for that, I was quite, I thought generally overall like a lot of teams looked really well built, which you'd expect, but you know, to some extent. But I'd also expect to look down the list and think, oh, I'd love to face that team. I'd absolutely batter it. But there weren't many of them like that actually. So I think that speaks to how well people play.
Yeah. I think obviously a lot of people put a lot of time in, but no.
Yeah.
I just think next season when we're back in person, that's the one I'll be. Like last season, I felt great going into it. I'd spent like 48 hours staring at that team building sheet, like straight when it came out, and I had my team, and then I made a change on the day, and then I was like, because I'd made the change on the day rather than 2 days before, I didn't run the thing as much as I should have, and it cost me games, and I still went 4-3. Like looking back, I should have run Blaziken like against what's the German guy, the one who's not playing this season.
No,
that's gonna bother me now.
MCal?
No. Yeah, MCal. Faced MCal like round 3, and I was 2-0, and he had Obstagoon, and I was like, right, that's gonna show up, because I should bring Blaziken, and then I just didn't. I think I went like Azu instead to try and, but that's pretty even at that point because it's non-XL, and it was just
gunshots.
Just cost me. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I just tried to trust my gut here. I didn't do a huge deal of that. Just like trust my gut, like open, just go with
Yeah, I was sat before it going through the other two, like looking at the exact numbers, and I was like, all right, Bronzong's everywhere. Probo's quite common. So I switched from Shadow K9 to normal K9 because my K9 beats Probo in the 1s and 2s.
Nice.
Which I think I ended up catching somebody out with because they stayed with their Spark Probo, being like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's just, I just don't like point metas.
Oh, I think
It's
there's
not fun.
there's so much fun. There's so much. I'd like to see.
I love building for them, but then the way they turn out, I always dislike.
Right, fair.
I don't know what it is. It's just the way the meta seems to be played. It always just seems to be a bit more not open, because it's not open. Like, it just closes some matches up, like matchups off to you. Like, I don't like having to sacrifice. Like, I would have lost to an Altaria. End of. Like, I had no answer. I think
Right.
Crustle and Jirachi were my best answers, and they're not great at best.
Well, I think what's interesting is that the 10-point ones have the capacity to run through teams. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not just ban the 10-point picks completely? Upgrade the sixes or some of the 6s to 10s. Upgrade some of the 4s to 6. And just move it up a little bit. And then
Yeah.
That's something I'd be interested to see.
It reminds me of like draft, like an 8-person draft where they just ban everything that's good, and then you look at it and it's like the best ones are like Hypno and Scrafty. And it's like, it makes it so much more balanced and fun. Whereas if you see an Azu, you're just like, I've got to fucking have a grass type or a poison type.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I love running Azu, but if you're gonna include Azu and everything, just make it a meta where they're all available.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to see is this sort of point system implemented. Remember when we had back in season 1, and it was fire, water, grass, electric, bug, maybe, where it was quite RPS-y.
No, it wasn't jungle.
Rainbow?
It was the other one, Rainbow. Yeah, and you had to pick.
Just Gen 1 and Gen 2.
And it was basically Charizard, Venusaur, Mantine,
Quag.
Pick a Mudboy, Quag.
But
and
I'd like to see point systems dropped into metas like that to stop people from winning.
Yeah.
The big fire.
Make the meta really, really specific, rather than open and then put a point system on it. Like, it wasn't Timeless, was it, where you had to pick a starter?
Yes, that was Timeless, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that with a point system. Great. Well. Fine with it. But if you've got G-Fisk and Azu and stuff like that, and then there's just going to be people picking the 10-pointers, it just... Like, I didn't mind... Was it Prismatic?
With the colours.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. But I think I look back and I go, well, Jungle is one of the best metas I've ever played, and it was just broken. It was just Vig. But I still love that meta because I knew everyone was going to bring Vig.
So you just bring 3 big characters.
Yeah, so you just bring Beedrill, Vespiquen, your own Vig, and you're fine.
Yeah.
It just, the way they're going at the minute, it just killed me off a bit. I just didn't enjoy the points. I look back at everything since, what was it? Since just after Christmas. Like, up until Christmas, I absolutely loved the metas. And then something
Labyrinth.
I loved Labyrinth, that was it. I really enjoyed Labyrinth because I found my core, but that took forever to find.
Yeah,
and then after that, I've just there's just been something about the metas that I've just not enjoyed, and I can't put my finger on it.
They've all been a little bit more experimental, haven't they? But,
yeah.
Good to see them try and do stuff. It stops it getting stale.
Yeah. Which I don't mind. Like, I'm fine with them trying new stuff, but I think trying it like 4 months on the bounce is a bit too much. And I think I noticed, because I was looking at it going, I'm going like every other cup, I'm like either just positive, and then there's that one a month that has kept me so high ranked. Like, I can't remember what month it was, but I went 6-1 with Jelly in EPL, and the rest of them were awful. Like, I think I went like 2-3 in Huddersfield or something.
Right. Yeah, it's just, I suppose that's just the way the weighting system is this year, though. Like, everyone has that. But I had that in Nightfall. I got my 6-0 in Nightfall, and then went like 50-50 outside of that. Like,
Yeah, I remember I didn't play many Nightfall, and I really should have, but I was just waiting for that TM day because I wanted Shadow or Bomber on my team.
oh yes, I
just to
remember.
deal with G Fisk. I was like, normal one can do it in the ones, I guess, but that was good. But no, it's nice to see them bringing stuff back for factions because obviously it's changed a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Right, let's leave it there for now. Thanks for joining, and then next season when you're regional champion, third season in a row, you use all these things back in person.
Yeah. I'll see you at Worlds next year once you win North American ones.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, mate. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and
yeah, catch you later.